100 years ago, my great uncle left Tasmania as a member of the 40th Battalion to fight in the Great War. He never returned, but he went there with love in his heart to fight for his country, Australia, and to defend the lifestyle of all Tasmanians. 100 years later, I'm here in Tasmania because I've got a strong commitment to this state, as he did, and I know that Tasmania forms a critical link in Australia. My mother was born in Penguin. She left in 1939 to work in munitions factories in the Second World War for our troops fighting the Japanese in New Guinea. Few people know that that was the most critical part of our whole war effort. We're losing casualties of up to 50% in the munitions factories. My father established radio station 7UV in Alderson and was a long-time college and worked hard with the former Prime Minister coming from Tasmania. That's why originally we established our party as the United Australia Party. And that's why people moved to stop us doing that. We ended up with my name. But really, we want to unite all Australians, and we can include Tasmania part of our great national country. And that needs to be done. Today, we find that Tasmania suffers hardship. Across this state, people are having trouble. We're seeing youth suicides, family disruptions, and people deserting the state. Unfortunately, we've now got intergenerational unemployment, where a father or mother has been unemployed all their life and there's no hope for themselves and their children. People have lost hope in the future. We have to be optimistic about what Tasmania can achieve, because I'm sure we're not living in a sea of despair. There's just a need for leadership. Leadership, the only ability of leadership is the ability to lead and lead vigorously. And that's why we're here, because we know that Tasmanians need more jobs. They need more employment. The Liberal Party has been attacking Plamer United. They've said that I'm yellow on the outside and green on the inside. I don't think I look like a green, do I? I'm sure that Jackie Lambie's not a green. Will Hodgman, in the history of the Western world, is the longest serving opposition leader. He's proposed more no-confidence motions that don't pass than any other opposition leader in the Western world. In that position as opposition leader, he's got my full support. The question is, we have to keep him there, because he has no ideas on how to lead this state. He's been there for such a long time that each election comes around, he pushes off his campaign speech for the last one, gets his secretary to type it on his laptop and sees how he's going to change it. But it's the same message for Tasmanians every time there's an election. Every time there's an election, our politicians from the Liberal Party, the Labor Party and the Greens don't tell Tasmanians the truth. They don't tell them the hard things that need to be done to bring this economy back to its strength and to get growth and investment going. I know that we can do it. When I first visited here in 1986, the Tasmania produced more than $1 billion a year for the federal government that it consumed, and more than $1 billion a year. But that was before Labor, the Greens, indeed the Liberals destroyed this state, locking up 51% of the whole island. We need to revisit that and see what areas can be productive and what we can do. And today, we find that there are over 20,000 Tasmanians that don't have an income of greater than $23,000, that they live in poverty, and they've got no hope for the future. We find that elderly people are worried about dying in their homes and not having anyone to help them. And they're worried about what will happen in the community. We see people dying in the corridors of the hospitals in Tasmania. We find that the capital infrastructure of the state for future growth and planning is just not there. And more or less we find that the Tasmanian Parliament is hopeless to help them. The Tasmanian Parliament works this way. On one side you have a set of people that know absolutely nothing. On the other side you've got another set of people that know absolutely nothing, and advised by a set of people that really know nothing at all. So is it any wonder what happens to this state? Is it any wonder that there's no one there that cares about the people? Section 92 of the Australian Constitution says that trade and intercourse between our states will be free. How can it be free with Tasmania when there's a monopoly over Bass Strait, when there's not free trade, there's not competition, and this island's been choked off for too long? How long will it be before Tasmanians can sell their produce in Australia on a fair, even playing field? How long will this anti-competition policy be allowed to survive by successive Tasmanian governments that get donations from the very companies that operate the Bass Strait link? What sort of a priority is that? How much money flows to the Liberal Party? How much money flows to the Labor Party? And who suffers? The people of Tasmania. Well, right across this state, the spirits of Tasmanian people are rising up, and they've had enough. They want to bring about change for themselves, for their community, for their children, and they want a better future. And we're there at Plamer United to help them because we care about their future. We know they can have a better future. The problems that this state suffers have been made by Tasmanians, and that Tasmanians have the solution. And we have in Kevin Morgan a person of outstanding quality and character who knows what's got to be done. Only Plamer United is fearless. We're not there for the next election. We're there today to help the people of this state get a better future. I've got no long-term plans in politics. History is our only reward. Service is our only motivation. But we cannot stand by and let this state deteriorate, because this is what's happening, and this is what's happening all over Australia. We've got to make sure that something happens. My family has got a strong commitment to this country. As I said, my great uncle served in World War I and lost his life. 5 of us served in World War II. I've got 3 nephews, TPI pensioners from the Vietnamese War. I've got my other nephew, Squadron Martin Lee Brewster, who served with Interfed in Timor. All of those people have done much more than what I could do, what you could do. But we've all got it together. Realise it's not the country, it's not the government that's responsible for keeping you alive, it's you. The question today is, what can you do to help us? What can we do together to make this state, this country, a better place? And you'll find out in just a minute, because our state, the next Premier of Tasmania will be coming in and telling you all about it. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to introduce to you the next Premier of Tasmania. Give him a rousing welcome, Kevin Morgan.
Men and women of Tasmania, we meet today in a city known for its strength. Among people known for their reliance, we find our state in need of both strength and resilience. The main issues facing Tasmanians today is not what individual becomes Premier, but what Tasmanians can do to regain Tasmania's wealth. The Liberals, Greens and Labor are devoid of ideas. Liberals and Greens have not offered any hope for Tasmania. Will Hodgman wants to cut government expenditure and shrink the economy to the size of Lara. Lara wants to join Will Hodgman, and they both want to tax us to oblivion. Actually, they are both boring. Neither Lara nor Will Hodgman will debate the critical issues facing Tasmania. Will Hodgman and Lara are too scared to tell the truth about the Tasmanian economy. So they talk in cliches because they haven't a solution. Will Hodgman doesn't know that's why he has photo opportunities instead of press conferences. Lara doesn't know that's why she lives with focus groups. Labor need to pay more attention to the needs of the Tasmanian people. They offer no hope for the future. They are devoid of ideas. Tasmanians want to know, Tasmanians need to know how their lives can be better. Not in 20 years' time, but now in our time. Tasmania must stimulate its economy. We find that Tasmanians limit what they do because of the burden of taxation. Incentive has been lost, and with no activity and growth, the economy declines, and jobs, and opportunity for the economy. And we are all investors in that activity, and we want to encourage it. We cannot tolerate Tasmanians dying in the corridor of our hospitals or alone in their family home without anyone there to care for them. Health is declining. Every year in Tasmania, we cannot desert the sick or the dying. Medical staff are overworked, and capital infrastructure is not up to the projected increased demand. The fact of the matter is that over 20,000 Tasmanians receive less than $23,000 to live on, and that will get worse if we don't revisit our decision to lock up 51% of Tasmania from all activities. There are things we can do in some of those areas to produce more wealth for all Tasmanians to enjoy. Everything has got to be on the table to make Tasmanians' life better. We need jobs, jobs and more jobs, and to establish economic growth by revitalising our economy. Labor and the Greens have destroyed our economy. They have irresponsibly spent our money, and we will need to see more of the same if we don't take action. At every election, we hear the same old thing: insulting, pork-barrelling promises to win over voters. For 16 years, Will Hodgman and the Liberal opposition have failed to offer the ideas to change the future for Tasmania. They would rather attack and insult each other than focus on the real issues. Tasmanians are tired of hearing our politicians fighting. They lack the ideas, the vision, the character to stand up for what is right for our people. They lack the leadership to challenge the system and make the changes we need. It's time to do what is right. It is time to take action. Plamer United will deliver a prosperous future. On March 15, for the first time, Tasmanians have a real choice. Today, Tasmanians need leadership. Today, Tasmania needs a leader who can show Tasmania the highway that we need to go down. Today, Tasmania needs a vision that can deliver a sustainable economy for Tasmanian families. A government with no bureaucracy that controls it. A government with members of Parliament that actually understand the issues in our communities. We must unlock the stranglehold on the state with a solution to Bass Strait transport. We must restructure the economy and deliver people the jobs, and more jobs, and the security and jobs that they deserve. For too long, Tasmania has been devoid of leadership. We will deliver new opportunities to make Tasmania self-reliant again. We will have honest and accountable government. It's time to get Tasmania moving again. Our future is one of sustainable growth and jobs. We need to give our industries an added advantage to be competitive on national and international markets. Our future is driven by key industries such as agriculture, manufacturing, mining, forestry and tourism. These industries are vital to the future of our Tasmania, and it's important to ensure these industries are highly competitive and efficient. How can they when 51% of the state has been locked up by the Greens? We will unlock some of that land for industry, jobs and enterprise. How can we today ask our businesses to be efficient, to be productive and to have global best practice when they lose opportunities because of the link across Bass Strait? Every business I visit says Bass Strait is killing them. Why have the Liberals and Labor parties failed to deliver on Bass Strait for so long? Plamer United will, within 6 months of achieving office, deliver a solution for Bass Strait that will deliver on efficiencies and productivity. That is global best practice. A solution that will deliver a cost-effective alternative. A system that will create a growth scenario for Tasmania. A solution that will deliver on the model for real competition on bass strait. We need to create an environment for more opportunities, for new and innovative industries, new avenues to new investment for Tasmania. To do this, we require a transport network that helps our businesses to promote and improve the opportunities that are created. A transport system that helps our economy to grow and flourish, to deliver efficiency that will secure our future. Highway 1, making Bass Strait as part of our national transport network. We need to break the shackles of the Bass Strait transport network and replace it with a restructured and competitive network operating from ports across the north of the state. We will invest in faster, cheaper and more efficient ferry services, operating to and from Victoria. This will create competition to drive the costs lower for all services. We will also open transport routes through King and Flinders Island, the forgotten islands, the forgotten communities, helping to deliver new avenues for future investment with passenger, vehicle and business rates at road equivalent distant prices. Ports across the north of Tasmania will be launching pads for the state's economy. We will reopen the ports from Stanley to Georgetown and provide real opportunities for business. This will lead to jobs, jobs on the islands, jobs that will create strong communities and a strong future for business to build the island's economy. Palmer United will deliver jobs, jobs and more jobs, from Circular Head to Dorset, from the west coast to the Huon Valley. Once Tasmania produced more than $1 billion a year, more than it consumed, we will reopen Tasmania for business. A Palmer United government will immediately lease a 112-metre fast ferry for starting and trialling the service. We will deliver the service at the lowest possible cost. Palmer United will create a new level of service that will drive competition for Tasmania in the future. Investing in Tasmania's own in-cat eco-cats, this will create over 600 jobs in in-cat yards in Hobart during construction. These vessels are currently sold all around the world and provide the perfect opportunity to deliver a fast and efficient solution. To move people, freight and Tasmanian opportunities will drive jobs, jobs and more jobs. We can grow and revitalise our economies. Government needs to be the provider of the infrastructure and private business needs to show the government how it can drive the economy forward. Fixing Bass Strait will create opportunities for tourism, boost the number of visitors spending their money in Tasmania. We will boost investment in tourism. The raising of the bar for visitors from the mainland, we will raise the capacity on Bass Strait by 600 to 800 visitors per day and freight to markets in 5 to 6 hours on Bass Strait. Restructured transport will allow business to get their goods to market throughout Australia and the world at a competitive price. We can open up the state for sustainable investment to create jobs, jobs and more jobs for the security of all Tasmanians and their families. Together with our federal Palmer United team, we will deliver federal investment in infrastructure, in ports and vessel ownership. Under a national highway network, linking Tasmania to international ports like Hastings in Victoria, our businesses can access the world and all of Australia and put Tasmania back on the map. A user-friendly service on a highway system across Bass Strait will reinvigorate the Tasmanian business culture to be the driver of the driving the state's economy. Removing the dead taxes in our economy to stimulate growth and demand. In Tasmania, we need to eliminate the dead money taxes that inhibit the opportunity for growth and success. Payroll tax, stamp duty are a retardant on the state's economy. Businesses need relief from the burden of taxes for employing people and be given the incentive to grow and succeed. As business grows, revenue increases. Money circulates the economy. This creates opportunities for jobs. Plamer United will be in our first term of government, remove the burden of stamp duty from first home buyers. Stamp duty is a real impediment to growth. New home buyers are shown no mercy from the burden of debt required to pay stamp duty. With growth and the strength of the economy, we will remove this tax across the board. Innovative new industries with value-added opportunities in wood fibre. The future of forestry and the timber industry lies with the changing of the direction of our industry. The need for innovation and change is away from commodity products to value-add in Tasmania. Liberal and Labor can't do it. We need to stop exporting our ideas and our future for jobs. Today we need to open the gates for the development of ideas. Creating business is creating jobs, is creating and building the security into our state. Plamer United support the development of a pulp wood fibre mill. The benefit of a fibre mill is approximately $10 billion over 10 years, and this will start from the first site of turf being turned. To build a hub of the wood fibre resource through utilisation of existing and new opportunities, through research and development in partnership between business, government and the University of Tasmania, through its Cradle Coast campus, will be a game changer. Ethanol, timber and forestry hubs. The use of new technology to build an ethanol plant industry around the hubs on the northwest coast of Hampshire, the northeast at Scottsdale or Longreach, and south at Southwood in the Huon, would open up areas to residue processing and value add from forestry, from agriculture, from municipal residues. From fibre to seed, from bioproducts to the added value of crop rotation on farms. The future of agriculture has many windows. This technology is revolutionary in its recovery and also builds the opportunity for both diesel and petrol, as well as with up to 30% blend in diesel diesel and up to 100% in petrol replacement if the engines are suitable. This opens up mining, forestry and agriculture for use with diesel and petrol to the broader public. Ethanol has many benefits for forestry residues, agricultural wastes and municipal waste, as it value adds in all these industries and supplies new revenue streams to the business. The building of value add into the state's economy is the difference between having a growing niche market economy or a commodity base that we will struggle to compete in. The Plamer United Party will redevelop the port of Triabana. We will build a facility that will create a new dimension for Triabana and the East Coast. The tyranny of distance is the limiting factor in forestry, and we need to understand this. The future of Triabana and the East Coast will be our focus. This will be achieved by our vision for developing the port for the future and not limiting the control of the port to one business. We will build a diverse port, infrastructure that will set up for cruise boats visiting Triabana. They may stay or move on after dropping passengers for a land leg where we can build new business opportunities to showcase our state. A new tourism operation for day trippers and visitors to take a land leg to Hobart. The ability to utilise the port for new entrepreneurs will lead to a diverse economy, and one that will create a sustainable model for the East Coast. Turbocharging our economy will come about through removing obstacles currently in play and addressed in all our policies. Putting fewer dollars into government coffers and allowing business to utilise and drive the economy will put turbocharging dollars into the economy and drive revenues for state debt reduction. The state cannot afford to shut down further before business takes hold and grows the economy. We will remove payroll tax staged over 4 years to negotiate a package with the federal government to transition the state's economy to one of self-sufficiency will be put forward by the Palmer United federal and state teams. We need to create the incentive for business to relocate to Tasmania. Potential to remove once enacted. Removal of this tax for the first home buyers will drive the domestic economy. We need to start up housing buyers to create the opportunity for the higher tiers to move up, as well as this will drive all sales and push the economy's main influence of taxation in GST receipts. Remove stamp duty for first home buyers is an important step. Diversifying economies and industry sectors. In regional economies, as the majority of enterprises are small to very small enterprises, we need to be dynamic, adaptable and flexible in capitalising on new market opportunities. Open innovation identifies the assets and relationships within its networks. This can be both vertically and horizontally aligned, focusing on innovation as a driver of sustainable and rigorous regional economic growth, which will create growth. We will give more autonomy back to regional Tasmania. The one-size-fits-all approach and having the key decision makers based in Hobart does not give the regions any local decision-making process at all. Local solutions to local problems are the key to finding permanent solutions to long-term problems. Reinstalling permanency to the public service. We will reinstate permanency to the public service by removing contracts from hospital and education staff, plus departmental staff not on specific project work. This casualisation of the service brings insecurity in many forms to families and their need for real security. Banks will not lend them money to buy a house due to insecurity. This is but one of the creatives of not having a permanent job. Families move looking for security to where there are permanent jobs. Families stop spending. And this brings an economy of insecurity that Tasmania does not need. The increased flow of information and decision making allows for innovation in what is called the total quality management picture. Community engagement in solving community issues gives direct engagement in the process and thus ownership of the idea. A few words: there is no geography to passion and there is no geography to intelligence. It is in every community. Decision making at the local level is needed. Palmer United will produce a white paper on anti-corruption and conduct a review of the effectiveness of the state of the Integrity Commission and reform it to make it effective. Community safety and reduced fear of crime are priorities for the Palmer United Party. Palmer United will be smart on crime. Rather than reacting to unsubstantiated claims of a crisis in crime, PUP is committed to developing an evidence-based approach to crime strategy. Palmer United values the important role of prevention, education and early intervention with youth, and will await the overdue government report on youth justice policy. If elected, PUP will consider the financial capacity available to increase police numbers in the context of overall economic circumstances and legitimate demands for other frontline services such as nursing and teaching. It will also look at the operational needs of current police officers and other emergency services personnel, which may result in increased operational funding or the acquisition of new systems or assets. Community safety and reduced fear of crime are priorities for the Palmer United Party. Remember, Tasmanians need jobs. Our children need a future. Once Tasmania produced $1 billion a year more wealth than we consumed, that was before the Greens and Labor stopped activity in 51% of the state. That was before Greens and Labor closed down the state. That was before Greens and Labor sentenced Tasmanians to lowering the standard of living. That was when the Liberal Party did nothing to stop it. Tasmanians are alone. It was Tasmanians that caused the problems. It's Tasmanians that can fix it. I am standing for Premier because Plamer United has a plan developed by Tasmanians for Tasmania, a plan to unite Tasmania with the rest of Australia, a plan to restructure the state, to free up the resources of Tasmania, to transition the state to a better future for all Tasmanians. The message today for all Tasmanians is that help is on the way. That no matter what Labor and the Greens do, Tasmania will stand at this election with a single purpose: to serve all Tasmanians, to make Tasmania right again, for a prosperous future, for an expanding economy, for jobs for all our citizens. Help is on the way. Thank you.